Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahar, Rakakwadash, which is the Heavenly Father, name whom we're ignorantly and willingly called Jehovah and Jesus. Double honors to our elders and apostles over at Millstone that taught us His word in truth, sincerity, and charity. The holy apostles and prophets and men of God back to the end of reincarnation, pushing His word down, truth, sincerity, and charity, declaring the prophecies and the parables of the Holy Bible, and reporting on the things that's happening in today's time and how it relates back to the scriptures. Shalom to all you brothers that stand boldly and do likewise. I want to go into this topic real quick about the current news update with the verge of World War III as NATO dismisses Russia's demand. And if you've been keeping up what's been going on, there's been a lot of tension with Russia, a lot of tension with China and North Korea and the U.S. and its allies against Russia and its allies. And there's been a lot of tensions and a lot of talks of wars and a lot of rumors of wars. But it's soon going to ramp up to be thermonuclear war and all-out war, according to the word of prophecy that must unfold and play out. But I'm going to play this little video clip, and I'm going to read a couple scriptures proving that World War III will happen, and that these things is part of prophecy and it must take place here in America, man, and all across the world as it is written. So I'm going to play this. Lord will help it be edifying.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul from Off Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian. This is December the 2nd, 2021. So I wanted to come on and bring you the latest breaking news that we have on the situation in Ukraine. I was going to go ahead and do this tomorrow, but I decided to go ahead and give you guys the news tonight because by tomorrow this news will be old news. So this happened today. If you've been listening to our channel for any length of time, you know there's a situation now going on in the Ukraine-Russian area with all the Russian troops on the border with Ukraine, and Ukrainian troops have been deployed, up to 120,000 Ukrainian troops on the border of the contact line in Donbass on the Crimea area. So what has been happening over the last 3 or 4 weeks is that Russia moved a lot more troops in, and there has been threats going forth from Russia, from NATO, from the United States back and forth. President Putin came on the other night, and he was in an interview, and he gave the red lines for Russia. And Russia has made several demands of NATO and Ukraine to de-escalate the situation. So what you're looking at is a current picture of Anthony Blinken, which is the United States Secretary of State. That is him right here. And this is Sergei Lavrov, which is the Russian foreign minister, or you could call him the Russian Secretary of State. They had a meeting today, and they tried to work out the differences, but evidently the United States and NATO are not going to they're not going to meet any of Russia's demands. And Russia's demands were that they want in writing, they want some kind of legal document, some kind of guarantee that the United States and NATO would not expand any more eastward on their borders, and to withdraw or do not place offensive weapons on the Russian border, which could strike and obliterate Moscow in 5 minutes or less. So I'm going to read you some articles. This situation is getting more serious by the minute, and if they cannot work out a deal, folks, if they cannot come to some kind of agreement in the next couple days or weeks, then we are possibly facing a major war in Europe, and possibly even World War III if this thing kicks off. So let me read you what the diplomat.
And there you have it, man. If these demands not met, there's a possibility of World War III. And you can see that America's been the aggressor, as they always been the aggressor since they have been in rulership, since they have been given a blessing of the sword and temporary rulership of heaven, of earth, which is the heaven here on earth. Esau Edom is the aggressor in this situation, and he don't want to back down. But when you look at these things, when you hear these things, when you see these things, you ask yourself, what's the cause behind it? What's the meaning? Now we understand that it's greed and pride. You know, all wars are bankers' wars, as the saying goes, and there's the elite, the wicked at the top, funding both sides to try to fulfill his agenda. But when you look more deeply into it from the scriptural point of view, these things must take place. These things must come to pass. World War III, you know, the destruction of this place and the salvation of the righteous. And the Lord is going to be the ultimate puppet master, you know, for lack of better terms, behind the whole scenario. You know, the Lord is behind the whole scenario, and according to prophecy, these things must happen, where America will be taken out by Russia and its allies. That's the prophecy that's written, that America will be destroyed, that America allies will turn on them. And we finna get these precepts, man, because when you look at the video, and that was just 3 minutes. 3 minutes in, he's saying how Russia made several demands to basically tell the U.S. and NATO to stop expanding their borders, stop putting them in a vulnerable position where they have to attack or defend themselves. And America is not listening. Why? Because this is prophecy that must play out. This is I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna start with this. Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we have been hearing of wars and rumors of wars, you know, before we even came into this truth. But now being in this truth, we are hearing of the ultimate war to end all wars, which is World War III. You know, which we've been hearing about lately, man. And then this goes far as back this goes years back. You know, each powerhouse making power moves to set themselves up in a better strategic battle to win the war. You know, with Russia doing more deals with Africa, and Russia doing more deals with these third world countries, man, and bringing them under their wing. That all goes back to the prophecy written, you know, in Ezekiel 37. Well, Gog and Magog was going to come against this place. And, you know, they was going to gather up their troops, you know. And these are prophecies that's written. And these strategic moves has been taking place, you know, when you look out into today's world. And we understand that being in these last days, although we've been hearing the rumors of wars and seeing World War One, not seeing, but hearing the World War One and World War Two, that in these last days, we're getting closer to the World War III. The war to end all wars, you know. And this is written because the end must come. Salvation and destruction must come. And destruction is going to come upon this place, and simultaneously salvation for the righteous, for the elect, you know. This is Isaiah 13:1. It says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amoz did see, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt a voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the noble. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones from my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So the Lord of hosts, and the Lord of hosts is Yahweh. He mustereth the host of the battle. He's behind it. Okay? Because when you go into that word, so the Lord is behind gathering these nations to pour his indignation upon them, as it is written. And like it's written in the prophecies, hey, these nations are going to be gathered together. They're going to fight. Okay? Then they're going to all turn and try to fight the Lord and be scared. But the Lord is going to put a spirit on them to fight, as it is written. I'm going to grab that real quick. Because the Lord is behind this, man. So when we see these things, when we see the articles and the videos of America deploying 1,000 troops to Africa, and we know Russia is backing Africa up, you know, got them under a certain type of agreement. When we see these things and we hear these things, man, we know the Lord is mustering up the host. He's moving the pieces. This 2 Ezra 13:8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. So these people, when they were gathered together, they're going to be afraid of the Lord, but they're going to still fight. Okay, because that's the Lord's going to put on their spirit to do so. So you can destroy them. It says they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened, and his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And so when you ask yourself, when you're reading this, man, it paints a very vivid picture. And you got to ask yourself, when will this take place? When did this take place? And it has not taken place, but it will take place, okay? Pursuing to the war to end all war. Pursuing to the nations being gathered so the Lord can judge them. Pursuing to all these different nations gearing up to fight, Don't know why they're gearing up to fight. Don't know why they passing certain laws and bills. Don't know why they can't get America and NATO, the U.S. and NATO to cooperate and put something in writing. You got to ask yourself, why is this not happening? Why can't they all come to agreement to not fight, not use these ICBM nuclear missiles, and stop fighting for world peace? Why they can't come to these agreements and have world peace and end world hunger and all get along? Because that's not in the will of the Lord. Okay, when you read the scriptures. And when you dig deep into the will of the Lord, when you go into the scriptures and the prophecies and the precepts, man, you understand the will of the Lord more and more to be true. And the will of the Lord is to gather these nations and to destroy them and to destroy the sinners of his people who has taken hold, who has joined hand in hand with these other heathen nations, man. And that's a precept. It says, how it go? My determination is to gather the nations. This is Zephaniah 3:8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. So the Lord is going to rise up to the prey. He's not a man that he shall lie. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour out upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So this is in the will of the Lord. This is the prophecy of the Lord. This is why these things are happening, because the Lord determination is to gather the nations, to assemble all the kingdoms, and to end it all right here in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, the place of judgment was going to take place over there in the Middle East, what the Lord has set up for great judgment. Okay, he's going to pour his indignation upon them. All their faces are going to gather and be as flames, as we just read in Isaiah the 13th chapter, man. That prophecy is specifically for Babylon, who is the aggressor in this situation, who is the hammer of the earth, who is the whooping stick, okay? And the Lord controlled them. The Lord set them up, okay, for a very good reason, man, because we went out, we rebelled. That's why the Lord is going to destroy sinners also in that day when he gathered the nations together to judge them, to plead with his people Israel. That's also in Joel. This is Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? So we know the old kingdom of Babylon was transferred over into another kingdom. The Assyrians. And we understand that according to prophecy, Esau Edom was going to be ruling in these last days as part of the fourth kingdom. Esau Edom was going to be ruling from the fourth kingdom, being Rome, up until now. Okay, the daughter of Babylon. Okay, the whore that rideth the beast, the 7 heads, the 10 horns. That's your NATO. That's your EU. The whore that rideth the beast. That's America. Okay, that's America. And guess what? When you read and look more to the will of the Lord, these nations are prophesied to get destroyed. These nations are prophesied to be gathered together and start have this war, and the Lord is going to end it. Okay, because Esau Edom is the hammer of the earth. His blessing is the sword. He has the greatest military, but the Lord is going to take that out. That's why the Lord raised him up. As you read the scripture, it says, "For this purpose have I raised thee up." You know, as the Lord said it, man. He said, "For this purpose have I raised thee up." You know, so the Lord can show His power in him when He take him down in these other heathen nations. There go another article. NATO ready to punish Russia. NATO member states are prepared to take action against Russia should it show aggression against neighboring Ukraine. The White House top diplomat has announced its tension between Moscow and U.S.-led military bloc run high. You know, so it's a back and forth, he say, she say, you know, but we understand that this is the prophecy of the Lord. You know, it says they come from a far country from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from an Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And that's what it is, man. That's what's coming upon this place. Their faces are going to be as flames. The Lord's going to destroy sinners out of it, man. This place is not going to give off the stars of heaven and the constellation not going to give off their light because of the thermonuclear fallout, the mushroom clouds, the destruction. You know, the chariots blocking out the light. You know, all chaos and chaotic times is going to be dark, and the Lord is going to punish the world as it is written. You know. This says, verse 11, I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And that's Esau Edom, who's been the aggressor in this situation, man. Who is the hammer of the earth who's finna be broken, as we just read. Because when you read it, when you look in the video, it says several warnings, several demands was given unto the U.S. to basically back off. And they not listening, you know. So they know if it was good for humanity, they would listen, but they're not listening. Why? Because they're the devil. They love bloodshed, and they live their whole existence. They've been in, since they've been ruling. It's just been wickedness and violence and wars, not peace. So these things can't happen. So the Lord is going to have them fight each other just to end and take them all out because they don't know how to be peaceful. They don't know how to get along. Okay, and not to say the Lord is all about all nations being one. But when the righteous kingdom is set up, when the righteous are in authority, the people are going to rejoice. The nations are not going to learn war anymore. Nation are going to lift up sword against nation, man. These things are not going to be going on when our kingdom is set up through our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, his father Yahweh, and our King, King David. You know, but knowing that America is the aggressor, you know, the Lord is going to lay low the haughtiness of the terrible and call the arrogancy of the proud to cease, which is America. It says, verse 13, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as a chased roe, as a sheep that no man taketh up, and they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. It says, every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, their wives ravished. Behold, I will store up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bow shall dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And this is what's going to take place on the soil of America. This is what's going to take place pursuant to the day like no other. Jacob's trouble, okay? The day of the Lord's fierce anger, to destroy the sinners out of it. Okay, it's going to happen all across the board. It says in Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, which we are living in, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency. We are living in the glory of the kingdoms. We are living in the daughter of Babylon. We are living in spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Okay, which is aka America. In these last days shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall be dwelt in from generation to generation. So when you look into this Isaiah 13, it lets you give you an insight more into the will of the Lord and what he's coming to do and what's going to take place. Okay, so when we read in this this battle that the Lord has mustered up, when we read in this battle, when it's all said and done, this place is not going to be inhabited. These sinners are not going to be standing. The proud and the arrogance is not going to be standing. All these nations are going to be wiped out. Okay, and only one's going to be standing is the righteous, those that really believe in the elect, and the few rebels that got to get purged out once the New Jerusalem come from out of heaven and set up their kingdom on earth. The only people that's going to be alive and the elites that got to go in chains, as it is written, bind their kings and their nobles with fetters of irons. Okay, the only people that's going to be surviving after it's all said and done. Okay, and Isaiah 13 just give you more insight on that. This Joel 3 and 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks to spears. Let the weak say I am strong. So we reading this we reading this Joel 3, just as we read Isaiah 13, it gives you more insight on the will of the Lord and what's going to happen in these last days. You know, and the weak saying they're strong is these other lesser countries that's weak compared to America. They all saying they strong because they got nuclear capabilities. They got Russia and China behind them, backing them up, giving them equipment, giving them strategic battle positions and a role in this major war. Why? Because the Lord is behind it all. The Lord plays on the hearts of men. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth to whatsoever he will, just as he did with Pharaoh. The Lord is going to do with America today. This modern day Pharaoh, this modern day Egypt, this modern day Babylon. Okay, because all these nations are back. It's Joel 3 and 1. For behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which is happening now, the Lord is bringing again our captivity. Our captivity, our punishment is up. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. So they done this to our nation. They brought us down. They raped us, they robbed us, they pillaged our villages, they beat our language and heritage out of us, they changed our truth into lies, they made our people worship idols, call on false gods, and accept their way of life, living and thinking. They gotta die for that, man. Not just Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, the so-called Africans, the so-called Arabs, all these nations that had part in our downfall, they're gonna feel the wrath when they're getting judged, man. That's why it's happening. You know, that's why all these things are happening, man, because the Lord is going to judge these other nations. It says, I'm gonna jump down. It says, verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Say I am strong. So that's these other nations spending all the finances and funding on war instead of building the economy, because these other nations know what's going to happen, man. Russia, China, North Korea, these other Iran, these other third sort of say less developed countries than America. They all know what's up. They all weak, but they're strong because they have Russia and China on their side. They have nuclear capabilities just as America do. You know, that's why all these sanctions be happening, these meetings be happening, and America tensions with Iran and America tensions with North Korea, because they know that they have the capabilities and the equipment and the manpower to go to war, to cause a disruptance, you know, to be a threat. America know this, man. That's why America's been the aggressor. They not stepping down, and the Lord is using, and he's the ultimate puppet master. He's playing both sides, just as Esau elites play both sides and fund both sides of the war. Hey, the Lord is behind all y'all. The Lord is above all y'all, man. He's playing on y'all minds to do these things, to treat one another as such. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord's going to judge all the heathen round about. That's why you see the rumors of wars. That's why you see the tensions growing stronger. That's why you see certain things happening, certain means and certain sanctions, because it all goes back to the will of the Lord, as it is written. This Isaiah 14 and 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did it shake kingdoms? So the hammer of the earth, Esau Edom, who was blessed with temporary rulership, and his blessing was the sword, okay, which he's exercising that blessing. That's why he's the greatest military. Hey, according to the word of the Lord, these people are going to narrowly look upon them and say, is this the man that did shake the kingdoms, that was being the aggressor, that been bombing all these countries, okay, didn't let the earth be at peace, didn't want to answer nobody's request when they was warning America to back off from being an aggressor, from being a bully, from being a hammer of the earth. They're gonna narrowly look upon thee. They're gonna despise thee. Okay, when you fall out of your rulership. Okay, we read this Isaiah 14. It talks about Lucifer falling. Okay, and being brought to a lower state, and that's what's gonna happen in this war to end all war, man. Esau, Edom. Okay, the physical counterpart of Lucifer, this physical counterpart of Satan. He's gonna be destroyed. He's gonna be taken out for all his wickedness, for all his deception. Okay, for what he done unto the nation of Israel, where we just read in Joel, and what he done unto these other nations. Everybody is finna get back at this man. Okay, and these other nations finna be joined with him. They're gonna be judged as well. This Revelations 18 and 17, and these just few precepts proving the point, man. You know, you got a lot of more precepts, a lot of more accounts, which proves the World War III, which proves these other heathen nations going down, and they're gonna be destroyed, and they're gonna be put in chains, they're gonna be put in subjection, and we're gonna do to them as they have done unto us, man. As it is written. It says for Revelations 18 and 17, for 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and and ships and sailors and as many as trade by the sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And let's talk about America. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for 1 hour is she made desolate. So this place, America, this great city, is going to be made desolate, and all these nations are going to, although they're angry, the ones that did make money off this place, they're going to be mad because, like, damn, you know, we was made rich. Now what we going to do? You know, you're going to go into slavery. You're going to serve the Israelites, okay? Thus saith the Lord, according to his will. See, that's what these people fail to realize. The word of the Lord is playing out, okay? The understanding of the Lord is being given, you know? As long as we understand that, we see why certain things are happening. We see why certain articles come out. We see why certain troops get deployed. We see why all these nations and the tensions is getting hotter and hotter, you know? The scriptures tells us everything we need to know and give us our answer, you know? It says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. So the Lord's finna avenge this place, man. They have shed the blood of the prophets, the blood of the innocents. They have had a perpetual hatred against the Lord and his anointed. They have blasphemed the Lord in his name, his image. They have went around dropping bombs on everybody, being a hammer of the earth. They've been spreading wickedness. They've been spreading democracy, lies, and witchcraft. Hey, the Lord's finna put an end to that. As it is written, your hurtful works are fulfilled. They're reached unto heaven. Okay? The cries and the prayers of the just complain unto the Lord continually, so he's finna come take this place out, man. You know, and that's the prophecy written. That's the will of the Lord being understood more and more. You know? The 2 Peter 3 and 11, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved through World War III, through these different nations fighting each other. What manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. How the elements are going to melt with fervent heat? How are the heavens going to be on fire, being dissolved? You got to ask yourself these questions when you're reading. It's going to happen according to the word of the Lord, according through World War III, through Jacob's trouble, through sedition among men, through uprisings and invasions and violence, man. That's how that's gonna happen, man. And ultimately, these ICBM nuclear missiles are going to burn and melt this place through these different nations, shooting them off, man. Finding new ways to upgrade their technology and upgrade their equipment and missile capabilities, man. It's going to get ugly out here. And the scripture tells us that, knowing that these things are going to be dissolved, knowing this place is going to be on fire, knowing this place is going to be shaken, knowing these nations are going to be gathered, knowing Jacob's trouble is going to come, what shall we be doing? How shall we be moving in these last days, man? You know, we should have our faith and our works. That's the only way we're going to escape. That's the only way the Lord is going to see us and cover us. It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. You know, we look for a new promise. These things got to happen. This destruction got to happen. These nations got to die. These people got to die. The cries, the bloodshed got to happen, man. That's the only way the new is going to come in. The rain got to come. The storm got to come before you get to the rainbow, which is the good part, which is the covenant and the promise that the Lord has made. Okay, but now the Lord has a new promise and a new covenant where he's going to write his laws in us, man. Okay, we're never going to go into captivity again. We're never going to experience these things. We're not going to have to make videos and warn our people of these things, because it's never going to happen again. We're not going to have to warn our people of the enemy, because he's never going to have power over us again. We're never going to go off. You know, that's the promise. That's the new heavens and the new earth, everything being refreshed and replenished. Okay, the righteous being set up. Here on earth, the Lord said he will beautify the place of his feet. Okay, heaven is his throne, earth is his footstool. The Lord's going to beautify the place of his feet. Let's talk about here on earth. He's going to beautify the meek with salvation. The righteous in authority, the people are going to rejoice. Okay, all these heathens are going to rejoice. It says, wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent, that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot, and blameless. And that's the whole duty of men in these last days. So, knowing we just started off on a little video about an update on the verge of World War III, knowing these things going to happen, we got to always remember and pray to the Lord. We got to always be diligent so that we can be found to escape, man. You know, constantly standing upon our watch. You know, and then that's really the warning, the message. Hey, destruction is finna come. Stay upon your watch. Stay diligent. Stay watching. Hold on. Hold fast that which thou hast, and let no man take thy crown. That's the whole warning and exhortation, man, to keep pushing and keep fighting, because what we have is precious. We have the heads up. Okay? So, Lord, hopes the lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to our elders and apostles of a great millstone that taught us this word in true sincerity and charity, how to go into these prophecies and parables and break them down. Shalom, wa abba, abba.